So a lot of clients ask me, what can I use a special needs trust for? What distributions are okay and what are prohibited? In this video, we're going to be talking about restrictions on special needs trusts and also things you can use the money for. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen Cookman and I'm an estate planning attorney who specializes in special needs planning. On this channel, we're going to talk about how to set up a special needs trust to protect your loved one who has special needs. We'll talk about the importance of setting up a trust, what's the difference between a regular trust and a special needs trust, regular estate planning, a revocable living trust, how to avoid probate, trust administration, and many other relevant topics. If this information sounds useful to you, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you'll be notified when new videos come out every week. I'm a certified specialist in estate planning, and my law firm has helped hundreds of families navigate the complicated process of setting up their estate plan with special needs components. I'm excited to share all of the knowledge that we've learned over the years with you. So let's get right into it. A special needs trust is intended to be used for anything that your disabled loved one needs. It's very, very broad. You can use it for anything that is intended for them for their food, their housing, their transportation, education, healthcare, anything at all. The special needs trust is typically set up to say that it's intended to supplement anything that they're already receiving from public benefits. But what's important to know is even if they're receiving public benefits, let's say they're getting Medi-Cal, which is California's version of the federal Medicaid system. It's a health insurance program. Even though there may be some doctors that accept Medi-Cal, and by the way, there aren't that many doctors, but even though there are some doctors that might accept it, the special needs trust can pay for other doctors that don't accept Medi-Cal. So it's supplementing what they might already receive. But it's not intended to supplant it. It's not supposed to pay back Medi-Cal unless that's required, like in a first-party special needs trust. So it's really very broad. I think there's a fallacy out there that special needs trusts are super restrictive and they can only be used for a few things. Now, I do want to cover what those few things are and how to get around those things. The main one that you really can't get around is that the special needs trust is not supposed to distribute cash outright to the beneficiary. And why is that? Because when you're making distributions from a special needs trust, it doesn't count as income for public benefits. But when you distribute cash to the beneficiary, it does count as income. So let's say, for example, you say, well, I want this person to get $100 a month of allowance. Okay, and you're distributing $100 a month to them. Well, that's going to eat away dollar for dollar at their SSI benefits. So if they were receiving $950 a month of SSI, of supplemental security income, that's going to go down to $850 or so. All right, so we don't want to distribute cash outright. But there's ways to get around that, right? You can give them a Visa card that has, if they have the capacity and they're responsible enough, you can give them a card that has a balance of, let's say, a $500 cap. So they can spend $500 a month using the Visa card, and then the trustee of the special needs trust pays the invoice directly. So it's a really nice way, and not that many of us carry around cash nowadays, a whole lot of cash. Most places accept, Visa, MasterCard, other things. There's also a great tool called a TrueLink card, TrueLink. And this type of card can be pre-programmed. So you can spend things on certain items and not on other items. And one example I think is really good is, let's say that the beneficiary goes to the gas station, they're driving, they have a car, they go to the gas station and they need to buy gas. Well, that's fine, that's programmed into the TrueLink card. However, they can't buy cigarettes, right? So it's not just free for all, it's programmed to allow certain categories of items, but not others. So that's one way that a trustee of a special needs trust can really control how the beneficiary is spending the money. So then the other thing that a special needs trust is not supposed to pay for, according to a lot of people, is it's not supposed to pay for food and housing. To explain this, I really want to talk about supplemental security income, SSI. So this is an income stream that a child can become eligible for typically at age 18, because at 18, all of a sudden, somebody's an adult, which I think is kind of funny because I know some 18-year-olds who are not ready to really adult on things, right? But they become an adult and their parents' money is not attributable to them. So all of a sudden they're poor. And if you have under $2,000 in the bank and you're disabled as per Social Security Administration, which basically means you can't work and support yourself, okay? If you meet those two criteria, you can qualify for supplemental security income, which in California is about $950 a month. And it's intended to pay for your food and housing. Well, what SSA tells us is that if somebody else is paying for your food and housing, you don't need $950 a month. So let's say you as a parent are having your child live in your house, and so for free. So basically your child does not have to pay room and board. You are paying for that. That's somebody else paying for their food and housing. That $950 a month check that they receive is going down by about $250 a month, 1/3 of the federal benefit rate. So now they're getting less a month, which is not so good. Now imagine a special needs trust is paying for that food and housing. The same thing happens. We call that decrease, that $250 a month decrease, we call it ISM, in-kind support and maintenance, okay? We don't like that decrease and we try to find ways around it. So the special needs trust is not supposed to pay the food and housing if that decreases it. Now, I still like to put in my special needs trusts that they still can pay it if they make a reasonable analysis and they decide that the benefits of providing food and housing are greater than the decrease in SSI. So let's say the trust is paying for $1,500 of food and housing and the SSI amount is decreased only by $250. You're still coming out $1,250 ahead, right? So I like saying in my trusts that you still can make distributions for food and housing, even if it might decrease SSI. Now here's a really cool thing, and I go into more detail about it on my video on ABLE accounts. So I encourage you to watch my video on ABLE accounts right here. So in a nutshell, this is how it works. If the special needs trust makes distributions monthly to the ABLE account, let's say $1,200 a month to the ABLE account, and then the child's ABLE account turns around and pays for food and housing, there's no decrease in SSI. It's really miraculous. It's wonderful. Okay, so you can really pay for food and housing just by working through this intermediary, working through the ABLE account. So really, in sum, there's very few limitations on what a special needs trust can pay for. In fact, the trust should be drafted to say that the trustee has full discretion over anything that the child needs, okay? It can even pay for fun things, like if the child collects baseball cards or likes going to Special Olympics or to Disneyland. The Special Needs Trust can pay for all of those things. So it's really a wonderful vehicle to take care of your child and still provide them maximum independence and improve their quality of life as much as possible. For additional information on setting up special needs trusts, I have a full-length webinar, so I ask you to click on that below to get more information. As you can see, setting up a special needs trust and having the correct language is essential for having the special needs trust act the way that you want when you're gone. So choosing a special needs trust attorney who understands all of these things and can draft the trust correctly is super important. In this video right here, I talk about how to choose a special needs trust attorney and work with them. So I ask you to click on that one and we'll see you there.